The sun's first light peeked through the curtains, making stripes of gold across my hotel room. Istanbul was waking up. The city, with its rich history and vibrant culture, was slowly coming to life. The soft hum of the city was like a gentle reminder of the adventures that awaited me. I could feel the pulse of Istanbul, a city that has seen empires rise and fall, and yet it stands resilient and proud. The call to prayer sang out across the city, a beautiful tune mixing with the faraway sound of cars. It was a melody that transcended time, connecting the past with the present. The minarets stood tall, silhouetted against the dawn sky as if they were guardians of the city's soul. The azan echoed through the narrow streets, reaching every corner, reminding everyone of the spiritual essence that binds the people of Istanbul. I smelled the salty, fresh sea air, very different from the faint smell of spices drifting up from the street. The Bosphorus, with its shimmering waters, was a lifeline for the city, a bridge between continents. The scent of the sea was invigorating, a promise of new experiences. The spice shops, with their colorful displays, added a touch of the exotic, a reminder of Istanbul's role as a crossroads of trade and culture. Time to explore. I opened the windows wide, ready for the day. The view was breathtaking, a panorama of rooftops, domes, and minarets. The city stretched out before me, a mosaic of history and modernity. Each building, each street had a story to tell, a piece of the puzzle that is Istanbul. The morning light bathed the city in a golden glow, making everything look magical. The air was cool and fresh, waking me up after a good night's sleep. The streets below were starting to buzz with activity. The vendors were setting up their stalls, the aroma of freshly baked bread wafting up to my window. The city was like a living organism, each part working in harmony to create a symphony of sights, sounds, and smells. Down below, the streets were getting busy. People were setting up their shops, their colorful things a bright spot against the old stone buildings. The market stalls were a riot of colors, with fruits, vegetables, spices, and textiles creating a vibrant tapestry. The vendors called out to passers-by, their voices adding to the cacophony of the morning. It was a scene of organized chaos, a testament to the city's energy and resilience. Delivery trucks rumbled over the bumpy streets, their horns a noisy song of the city. The cobblestone streets, worn smooth by centuries of use, were a reminder of the city's long history. The trucks, with their modern cargo, were a symbol of the city's constant evolution. The juxtaposition of old and new was everywhere, a reminder that Istanbul is a city that embraces change while honoring its past. This was Istanbul, a city that never sleeps, a place where old and new mix together in a bright, exciting way. The skyline was a blend of ancient domes and modern skyscrapers, a testament to the city's ability to adapt and thrive. The streets were alive with people from all walks of life, each contributing to the city's unique character. It was a place where tradition and innovation coexisted, creating a dynamic and vibrant atmosphere. After a quick shower, I went down to the lobby, excited to see and hear everything this amazing city had to offer. The lobby was a hive of activity, with travelers coming and going, each with their own story. The staff greeted me with warm smiles, their hospitality a reflection of the city's welcoming nature. I felt a sense of anticipation, eager to immerse myself in the sights and sounds of Istanbul. I stepped onto the busy street, a crowd of people all around me. The energy was palpable, a mix of excitement and purpose. The streets were a maze of activity, with pedestrians, cyclists, and cars all vying for space. The sounds of the city were a symphony of honking horns, chatter, and the occasional shout. It was a sensory overload, but in the best possible way. The energy was strong, a mix of excitement and anticipation that made me feel excited too. The people moved with purpose, their faces reflecting the diversity of the city. There were tourists, locals, and business people, all contributing to the vibrant tapestry of Istanbul. The air was filled with the scent of street food, a tantalizing promise of the culinary delights that awaited me. I called a taxi, my tummy rumbling, thinking about a real Turkish breakfast. The taxi driver greeted me with a friendly smile, his eyes twinkling with the warmth that is characteristic of the people here. As we drove through the bustling streets, I couldn't help but marvel at the city's energy. The anticipation of tasting authentic Turkish cuisine added to my excitement. The taxi zipped through the small streets, a crazy dance of honking horns and almost crashes. The driver navigated the chaos with ease, a testament to his skill and familiarity with the city's rhythm. The narrow streets were lined with shops and cafes, each one a glimpse into the daily life of Istanbul. The ride was an adventure in itself, a thrilling introduction to the city's dynamic nature. I looked at the buildings, a mix of old and new styles. The architecture was a visual representation of the city's history and evolution. Ancient structures stood side by side with modern buildings, each telling a story of a different era. The contrast was striking yet harmonious, a reflection of Istanbul's ability to blend the past with the present. Old mosques stood tall next to modern offices, showing the city's long and interesting history. The mosques, with their intricate designs and towering minarets, were a testament to the city's rich cultural heritage. The modern offices, with their sleek lines and glass facades, were a symbol of progress and innovation. Together they created a unique skyline that was both timeless and contemporary. This was a city of differences, where East meets West, where old and new get along. The cultural blend was evident in every aspect of the city, from its architecture to its cuisine. It was a place where traditions were honored, yet new ideas were embraced. Istanbul was a city of contrasts, a place where the past and the future coexisted in perfect harmony. As I continued my journey, I knew that this city had many more stories to tell, and I was eager to discover them all. The taxi dropped me off at a small, simple cafe. It was early morning and the city was just waking up. The streets were still quiet, with only a few people hurrying to their destinations. The cafe, however, was already bustling with activity, a warm haven in the cool morning air. The windows were foggy with steam, a sign of the warmth and comfort inside. It was as if the cafe itself was breathing, exhaling the cozy atmosphere that awaited within. The smell of strong coffee and fresh bread floated out, making me want to go in. The aroma was inviting, a blend of rich, dark coffee and the comforting scent of freshly baked bread, promising a delightful experience. I walked inside and felt a warm, cozy feeling. The air was full of the smell of spices, cumin, sumac, and paprika, mixed with the sweet smell of honey and jams. The interior was charming, with wooden tables and chairs, and shelves lined with jars of colorful spices and preserves. A friendly waiter with a kind smile on his face showed me to a small table by the window. He didn't speak English, but he showed me with his hands, and he was very welcoming. His gestures were warm and inviting, making me feel at home in this foreign place. My table quickly filled up with a feast of Turkish breakfast treats. The variety was astounding, each dish more tempting than the last. It was a colorful array of flavors and textures, a true feast for the senses. There were small plates of olives, cheeses, tomatoes, and cucumbers, all bright colors against the white tablecloth. The olives were plump and juicy, the cheeses rich and creamy, the tomatoes fresh and vibrant, and the cucumbers crisp and refreshing. The main dish was menemen, a Turkish breakfast food with eggs, tomatoes, peppers, and onions. It was served in a small sizzling pan, the eggs perfectly cooked, the tomatoes and peppers adding a burst of flavor. The eggs were soft, the tomatoes juicy, and the spices added a warm, cozy flavor. The combination was comforting and satisfying, a perfect start to the day. I ate the menemen with pieces of fresh bread, enjoying all the different tastes and textures. The bread was soft and warm, perfect for soaking up the rich, flavorful sauce of the menemen. No Turkish breakfast is complete without K, the strong black tea everyone drinks in Turkey. The tea was served in small, tulip-shaped glasses, the deep amber liquid steaming invitingly. The waiter poured me a steaming cup from a pretty curved teapot, the orange-colored tea filling the small, tulip-shaped glass. The ritual of pouring the tea was almost as enjoyable as drinking it, a graceful, practiced motion that added to the experience. I took a sip, the strong, earthy taste a perfect match for the sweet honey and jams. The tea was robust and invigorating, a perfect complement to the rich, sweet flavors of the honey and jams. It was a moment of pure contentment, a perfect start to the day in this beautiful city. After my big breakfast, I felt energized and ready to explore the heart of Istanbul. The city, with its rich history and vibrant culture, had so much to offer, and I was eager to dive in. The aroma of freshly baked bread and the sound of bustling streets filled the air as I made my way to one of the most iconic areas in the city. I went to explore the oldest part of Istanbul, Sultanahmet Square. This square is not just a place, it's a living, breathing testament to the city's layered history. As I walked through the square, I could almost feel the echoes of the past, mingling with the present. This busy square is home to some of the city's most famous buildings, each with its own unique story and architectural splendor. The square was alive with tourists and locals alike, all drawn to its historical significance and beauty. Like the Hagia Sophia and the Blue Mosque, these two monumental structures stand as proud symbols of Istanbul's diverse cultural and religious heritage. As I walked, I heard all the sounds of the city, the chatter of people, the distant hum of traffic, and the occasional call of street vendors. The atmosphere was electric, yet there was a sense of timelessness that enveloped the square. The call to prayer, people selling things, kids laughing. The call to prayer, echoing from the minarets, added a spiritual layer to the vibrant street life. It was a reminder of the deep-rooted traditions that still thrive in this modern city. The Hagia Sophia, a beautiful old building, stood tall at one end of the square. Its majestic presence was awe-inspiring, a testament to the architectural genius of its creators. Its huge dome, looking like it was floating in the air, has amazed people for over 1,500 years. The dome's design is a marvel of engineering, creating an illusion of weightlessness that captivates all who gaze upon it. It used to be a church, then a mosque, and now it's a museum. This transformation reflects the city's dynamic history, where different cultures and religions have left their mark. The Hagia Sophia shows the city's long and exciting history. Walking through its halls, I could almost hear the whispers of the past, stories of emperors and sultans, of conquests and celebrations. Inside, the air smelled like incense and people whispered quietly. The soft glow of light filtering through the stained glass windows added a serene and almost mystical ambiance to the interior. Across the square, the Blue Mosque stood tall with its 6 towers pointing to the sky. The mosque's elegant minarets and cascading domes create a striking silhouette against the sky. Built a long time ago, the mosque is a beautiful example of old Turkish buildings, decorated with thousands of blue tiles. These tiles, with their intricate patterns and vibrant hues, give the mosque its name and its unique charm. I took off my shoes and went into the main prayer room. The act of removing my shoes felt like a small but significant gesture of respect, a way to connect with the sacredness of the space. I was amazed by how big and beautiful it was. The vastness of the prayer room, with its high ceilings and expansive floor, was both humbling and uplifting. I heard the quiet sound of people praying, a peaceful and spiritual sound. The gentle murmur of prayers created a soothing rhythm, a moment of tranquility amidst the city's hustle and bustle. Stepping back into the sunlight, I felt amazed by the beautiful buildings I had just seen. The contrast between the cool, dim interiors and the bright, warm sunlight outside was striking, a reminder of the diverse experiences the city offers. These buildings were more than just walls and roofs. They told stories of kings and queens, of religion and battles. They are living monuments to the city's rich and varied history, each stone and tile a piece of the grand mosaic that is Istanbul. The smell of grilled meat and spices made me walk down a small side street, a nice change from the old buildings of Sultanahmet. I found a small, hidden restaurant, with tables outside on the sidewalk. I heard the sounds of sizzling meat and people talking excitedly. I sat at a wobbly table, my stomach rumbling. The menu was in Turkish, but the owner, a happy man with a big smile, helped me understand. He suggested the Adana kebab, a spicy ground lamb kebab cooked over a fire. I said yes quickly, my mouth watering. The kebab came, sizzling on fluffy rice with warm flatbread and a salad of tomatoes, onions, and parsley. It smelled amazing, a mix of smoky fire, spicy lamb, and tangy sumac. I took a bite and the flavors were amazing. The lamb was juicy, the spices were warm, and the bread soaked up all the juices. As I ate, I watched people walk by. Locals stopped for a quick meal, talking and laughing. Delivery guys walked between the tables, carrying trays of hot food. This was the real Istanbul, a city that is alive on its streets, a place where every meal is a celebration.